Hi everyone, my name is Ruben. I'm one of the parts and orientation specialists here at Colton RV in North Tonawanda. We're here going to give you a demonstration of a 2021 Coachmen Chaparral Fifth Wheel. So we'll start on the outside, work our way inside. So right here in the front, we've got our pin box, more ride pin box. All your 7-way connection, your breakaway cable is located up here. Got a more ride pin box there. We head under the compartment here. You see we've got 2 batteries lined up. We have a 1,000 watt inverter. You have your jack motors in here. So this inverter is a good feature for any camper, motorhome, or fifth wheel. It takes 12 volt power from your batteries and converts it into 110 power for small appliances such as a refrigerator, hair dryer, coffee pot, stuff like that. While you guys are running your inverter, if you're off grid, not plugged in, don't have a generator running, this inverter will run a lot of your smaller appliances. Pay attention to the wattage of those appliances. Make sure they don't go past 1,000 watts, otherwise they won't work. But anything under 1,000 watts, as long as you're not running a bunch of things in tandem, that inverter will run those appliances. Right here, we have our first leveling panel. This is going to be the one you probably use the most often. So we have to turn it on, hit both arrows at once, like that. So that green light turns on. Now when you get to the campsite, first you want to raise it off your truck by hitting this arrow, like that. Then once you're off the truck, you have the truck pulled forward. You can hit auto level. That's going to automatically level the fifth wheel by raising or lowering these front jacks, dropping the back jacks down and leveling it to a spot where it's nice and comfortable. Good for your slides, good for your fridge. Then when it's time to leave the campsite at the end of the trip, we have hitch height and we have retract all here. The first one you're going to hit is hitch height. The hitch height button is going to take your jacks in the back, bring them up, and raise or lower your front jacks back to where you were before you hit auto level. The reason I call that hitch height is ideally that's where you were when you got off your hitch, which should make hitching up much, much easier than trying to guess. As long as nothing shifted too much while you're camping, that hitch height button will bring you right back to where you were when you got off the truck. Retract all. Once you're on the truck, you're fully hitched up, you know you're connected, you can hit retract all, and all the jacks are going to come completely up. Do not hit that button until you're on your hitch. Otherwise, you will go down on all fours. That's a bad day. You don't want that. Moving over here, we have your first propane tank. You have 2 30-pound propane tanks, one on this side, one on the opposite side. They open and close just like your tanks at your house do for your propane grill. We have a regular switch on the other side to determine which tank is being pulled from at once. I'll show you that on the other side. Over here, we have a few things going on here. First, I want to point out the sticker on this door. If you ever forget how to use that leveling panel on the front or get confused, this will give you step-by-step instructions of what each button does and how it works. Then moving over here, we have a battery disconnect switch, this red switch right here. So it's one of the most common questions we get here at Colton RV. When do I use my battery disconnect switch? Your battery disconnect switch is best used when you're storing it. So if you store it at home, it's not plugged in, so between camping trips, say you come home from a trip in June, you run another one in July, but you're not going to be using it until then, what you can do, you take this switch, turn it off, that's going to disconnect your batteries from the camper. So what that means is that when you're parked, when you're storing it, things like your microwave indicator lights, any kind of residual power that's being pulled won't drain your batteries because your batteries will be disconnected. It's important to remember that your batteries will not charge unless your battery is connected. So when you go out the night before the trip to get your fridge cold, to get the batteries charged, make sure that switch is backed on. Otherwise, they will not charge when they're plugged in. Over here, we have your water panel. Outside shower up top here. You have a water filter right here. We have a black tank flush right here. We'll get to that in a second. And we have your city water connection right here. You're going to have 2 different options for water. You're going to have city water and you're going to have a gravity fill, which we'll get to later. Your city water connection is for when you're at a campsite that has a water hookup that you're able to access. Having a hose connected here, threads in right there, will allow you to have water and water pressure to the camper. When you're using city water, you do not need your water pump. The water and the pressure comes from the faucet outside. It'll pressurize all your lines on the inside. All your sinks, all your showers, all your toilets. Everything gets pressurized from the faucet outside. Up here, we have a system to kind of help determine what you're going to use your water for. So we have a tank fill, system use, and city water hookup and winterize. So tank fill is similar to a gravity fill, but it utilizes your city water connection. So if you're at a campsite that has really low water pressure, what you can do is you can still use your city water connection, but turn this way, like this, and the water coming in from the city water connection will go straight to your holding tank. And that allows you to use your onboard water pump to bring water from your tank up into your faucets and showers. So instead of relying on their low pressure, you can use your normal pressure to pressurize your lines and have better quality water pressure in the camper. This right here is for city water and winterizing. Right here we have little LED light, 110 outlet, connections for cable and satellite for the TVs on the inside. Now let's get to dumping. You've got 2 dump stations on the side of the camper. Your handles are right here for the first set. You have liquid waste and body waste. This is normally known as black tank and gray tank. Your black tank is your toilet. Your gray tank is your sinks and showers. So when you dump, what you're going to do is you want to pull your black tank first, let everything empty out fully, and then we'll go back to our black tank flush here. So once that tank is fully dumped, what you can do is you can run a regular garden hose to this connection right here and run water through the tank. What it's going to do is it's going to flush out the inside of that tank, so any residual toilet paper or material that's inside that tank isn't going to sit there and dry out. It's not going to devour, have issues with your sensors as often. You won't have as many smells. It's going to help flush and keep things cleaner. Then down here, once you've dumped your black, you flushed your black, close your black tank again and open up your gray. That's going to allow the water from your gray tanks, your sink water, your wastewater to come out and flush out that hose fully. Always do black first. It's just more sanitary that way. Allows your gray water to flush out all of that black tank material, so you're having as many smells, not having as many issues down the line. That's it for this compartment right here. So moving on, we have your furnace exhaust. One thing to keep in mind with these, as well as your hot water exhaust, is they emit propane exhaust. Bees, spiders, those little mud wasps love the smell of propane. They tend to fly in there and build nests, which can cause combustion hazards. So what we encourage is make sure you're checking those periodically for nests. We actually have screens that go on top of these to keep the bees out. They can't fly through the holes. It keeps them from building nests in there. They're about $20. Strongly encourage those. Moving on over here, have your first dump station right there. The handles we discussed in the water bay will dump that tank from that hole. Here we have your first set of slides. So based on basic slide maintenance, what you're going to do is you want to keep these seals on the outside here, these slide seals. You want to keep them lubricated and keep them conditioned. As the UV rays hit these, they tend to dry out and crack. That leads to leaks, that leads to damage that you don't want to deal with on your vacation. One of the best ways to prevent leaks, because it's a matter of fact, campers leak. That happens. But the best way to prevent the big leaks are covers to go over top of these slides called slide toppers, and fan covers called fan mates, or max air covers. It's going to keep water from coming inside these slides. It's going to keep these slide seals from getting dried out. It's one of the best insurance policies you can buy for your camper. Some more basic slide maintenance. The gears underneath the slide rooms need to be lubricated periodically, at least once a year. If you look down here below your slide, here's your second dump station. Looks like you have a black and 2 gray tanks there as well, with 3 handles to the left hand of the dump station there. Right here we have your hot water tank. So your hot water tank operates very similarly to the hot water tank you have at your house. You have a pressure relief valve right here, a basic auto fuse right there. You can get them from Napa, you can get them from AutoZone, any kind of car parts store will have these. You have your drain right down there to drain the water out when you winterize. And again, this exhaust port right here, and it's propane exhaust. Bees, spiders love propane exhaust. Then here we have a second black tank flush for your rear bathroom. Works the same way as the one in the front. 50 amp power cord. Now something you're going to come across fairly often is at campsites, they don't always have enough 50 amp power sources. So what you're going to want to do is get an adapter to go from 50 to 30. That's going to allow you to plug into there's 30 amp services, which are much more available, much more common. The only sacrifice you make with that is you can only run one AC at a time. You can still run your AC just one at a time rather than both at once. You have a ladder to your roof. Check your roof frequently. Again, you want to be vigilant with leaks. Your roof and the top of your slides are going to be the first spot where big leaks are going to start. If you don't go with those slide toppers, what you're going to have to do is you're going to go up this ladder here with a broom and sweep off the top of those slides to make sure there's water, debris, leaves, bugs, pine cones aren't coming inside your camper and causing damage. Because you don't want any sort of debris to rush against those slide seals, cause damage to those slide seals. You have a hollow bumper right here, for a place to keep your sewer hose, as well as a receiver for a bike rack or a kayak rack. We have your first entry door. This goes into the rear bathroom. Outdoor kitchen. The most important thing to keep in mind with your outdoor kitchen is this fridge. This fridge is, it's not a 12 volt fridge, it's not a propane fridge, it's a regular household 110 fridge. This will run off of your inverter, but if you don't have your inverter running while you're driving, this will not stay cold. So make sure you're not putting, milk or perishables back here that are going to go bad on your trip if it's not going to stay cold. You also have cable and satellite outputs. If you want to bring a TV out here and put it on the countertop here, you do some tailgating, watch some football, some baseball, whatever you guys want to watch. Have a movie night with your family. Have your next set of slides. We have your solid steps. These steps are some of my favorites. They're nice and easy to fold up, like this. They lock in place. And to bring them back down, pull the yellow handle and bring them back down again. Because they make contact with the ground, it helps your camper stay stable. And over here, we just have the other side of your storage compartment. We have an outlet right here. We have another satellite hookup. If you want to bring a TV outside, little light switch at the top here. And then finally, we have your primary hot water propane tank. So in that back corner there, that gray piece of metal there is called a propane regulator. That regulator is going to determine how much propane comes out of those tanks and which tank it's pulling from. So on top of that regulator, there's a little black switch that flips back and forth between left and right. Whichever tank that switch is pointing towards is which tank it's going to be pulling from. You can also point it towards the middle and pull from both tanks at once, which offers you absolutely nothing except a headache. The reason for that is there's no gauge on this regulator. So once you're out, you're out. So once you're out of propane, if you're pulling from both tanks at once, you're out of propane. Whereas if you pull from your left first or your right first, one at a time, once one tank is empty, you know you're halfway through and you have time to fill your second propane tank. We have your outside speakers. Have your awning and your awning lights. That is it for the outside. So now we're going to head inside and show you all the features on the inside of your Chaparral. So now we're on the inside of the Chaparral. So we're going to go over some of the features on the inside, how to work them. So right here, off the bat, we have the main control panel for the camper. So this is going to be your main source of function on the inside. So all these big switches down here, we have main slide, bed slide, and then we have 3 more slides here as well. You have 5 slides on this camper. These switches are going to activate all those slides, both in and out. Now it's important to remember while you're operating your slides, do your best to bring them all the way out and all the way in. It's just best for the slide motors. Something you want to take care of. Right here we have the switch for your awning. Again, in and out. The awning will not stop by itself, so you have to choose to stop the awning. And then up here we have your tank sensors. So battery. Your battery is full, it's got all those lights lit up. Your fresh tank is empty. Black tank is empty. Black 2 is empty. Gray 1 is empty. And your auxiliary gray is empty as well. Water heater, gas or electric. You can run off of either. Typically we encourage gas. Electric, it's just not as efficient. Gas gets you water warmer faster. We have a water pump switch right there. We have a step light. Entry lights, awning lights for the outside, the exterior porch light as well. And then up top here we have another leveling panel. One that you probably won't be using as often, but it's here if you ever need it. So this panel is only for leveling. So you can do everything you did from the outside on this panel as well. Now typically speaking, when you're using those jacks, you're going to be outside at the front of the trailer. So that front panel is the most convenient to use because of its location. But you can also do everything from here as well, including auto leveling, auto hitching, auto retracting. But again, the easiest one to use both by placement and just how it's laid out is the one up front. And then up here at the top of these stairs here, we have your thermostat. It's a 2-zone thermostat. We have zone 1 is in the front, zone 2 is in the back. You adjust the temperature, you can adjust the system, so AC, fan, furnace. We have a furnace running right now, nice and warm in here. More light switches. This one's a light switch. This one is for your Winegard Connect. So you have a Winegard Connect on your roof that helps you get Wi-Fi. Turns on with that switch right there. So we'll back into the kitchen. Starting over here, we have your TV and your radio. This radio will also play the speakers outside on the porch, as well as play DVDs for your TV as well. Fireplace down here. This fireplace is 110 only, so it doesn't operate off of propane. It also will not operate off of your inverter. It only works when you're plugged in. There's some switches right here. Just turn it on, change the lights, change the speed settings. This right here is for this vent right above my head. So these are wonderful fans. They're called Max Air fans, by the same company that makes the Max Air covers. So this button here opens the lid. And turns on the fan. I'm not sure if you can tell from this video, but that is a super quiet fan, moves a lot of air. Big fan with not a lot of noise. That's another reason why you want those fan covers. These fans are wonderful. They're also very expensive. So it's one of those things where you want that cover, you want that taken care of. So moving on, we have your fridge. A residential fridge. It's a beautiful fridge. This gray bag here will have all of your manuals for the coach. Spare set of keys in here. And we also have a tray down here, as well as one right here. You can give you some ice cube trays. One thing I want to point out to you is these straps here. These straps are going to keep these doors from flying open while you're traveling. So this is a residential fridge. It's not, the latches aren't designed for RVs, so these straps keep these doors from flying open while you're traveling. You're also going to be tucked up against this island here while you're traveling with the slides in, so it won't have too much to go, but still you want to prevent your doors from getting dented up by using these straps. Have your stove and oven here. So your stove's nice and easy to light. You can set it to high and spark it, just like that. All the burners work that way. And your oven's going to be similar, a little more complicated. So you're going to take this is the oven switch, turn to that flame, push and hold, and spark there. Your oven may take a few more tries to light. It takes a little bit longer for the propane to reach that burner down there, but it will light that way. Now, one thing I want to point out, the stove cover is not tempered glass. I say that because they will shatter if you put hot pots on them. So make sure you're not putting anything hot on top of these, and also make sure you're closing them before you take off to leave the campsite. These will break if they're flopping while you're driving. Microwave. Nice big microwave. Cupboards up top here, nice, lots of storage. More light switches right here. Another one over here for the accent lights above the dinette table. Your sofa. Some Thomas Paine theater seating. You have massage settings, accent lights, and heat settings as well. Again, these will also only operate with 110 power only, so they won't operate off your 12-volt battery. We'll head into the bunk room and the bunk bathroom. Nice, big, beautiful bunk room. You got your bunk with the safety net up here. Also folds up if you want to have more sofa space. Same thing over here. We got the nice cargo net for safety. The kids don't wake up in the middle of the night and fall on the floor. TV, nice entertainment area. Keep the kids busy on a rainy day. You want to bring your Xbox or your PlayStation or some DVDs, some Blu-ray players, Fire Stick. You've got that connect on the roof. Help you get some Wi-Fi. Rear bathroom. And head to the front of the camper. We have the main bathroom in here. As well as the master bedroom in here as well. Alright guys, that is everything for the 2021 Coachmen Chaparral Fifth Wheel. If you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call here at Colton RV. Phone number 716-694-0188. We're here from the parts department. We have sales and service here as well. Give us a call if you have any questions.